New this morning, prosecutors are now laying out new details about the man accused of placing 2 pipe bombs here in Washington, D.C., the day before the January 6, 2021 Capitol riot. According to the Associated Press, in a new Justice Department memo, prosecutors say Brian Cole Jr. told investigators he felt someone needed to speak up for people who he believed the 2020 presidential election, which Joe Biden won, of course, was stolen. CNN crime and justice correspondent Caitlin Polantz is here with me in the Situation Room. Caitlin, what more are we learning about this investigation?
Well, Wolf, this is quite a lot of information that the Justice Department is putting out publicly now because they want to keep this man, Brian Cole Jr., detained. They want to keep him behind bars as they pursue a case against him and potentially take him to trial. They say that when he spoke to them on the day of his arrest, they say that while he initially denied being the person who allegedly planted those pipe bombs on January 5th outside of both political headquarters in Washington on Capitol Hill, he eventually admitted. They say that he waived his rights, and when he was shown an image of himself on surveillance video that they say he was planting the bombs, he was speaking to the agents after 2 hours, paused, and then said, yes, it was him. He also admitted to being the owner of those Nike shoes. He said he threw them away, the shoes that for a very long time the FBI was trying to point people to watch. Now, the politics of this is very interesting as well. The FBI, the Justice Department, they've done an extensive amount of investigation around the alleged pipe bomber, and they say this man, Brian Cole, living in Woodbridge, Virginia, was interested in the politics because he was watching YouTube and the internet leading up to and after the 2020 election, and that he decided to go to this protest for Donald Trump, knowing that his family did not know that he was doing that, and that he was doing it because he was interested in history, specifically things like the Troubles in Ireland, and wanted to take part in this idea that the election was stolen, that he was going to that protest specifically because he wanted to check it out. They also have an extensive amount of information about the purchases he made and about those alleged pipe bombs, saying that he was shopping for them for years and bought all the parts in Virginia at places like Home Depot and Lowe's. Wolf?
I remember that day very vividly. I was obviously right here reporting what was going on. It was very, very scary indeed. All right, Caitlin Polantz, thank you very, very much. New details this morning about the man suspected of planting 2 pipe bombs in Washington just before the January 6 riots. In newly released court documents, federal prosecutors say Brian Cole Jr., there you see him, confessed, telling investigators he targeted the Republican and Democratic National Committee headquarters because they were, quote, in charge. The Department of Justice says he told investigators something just snapped after the 2020 presidential election. Cole was arrested earlier this month. A detention hearing is scheduled for tomorrow. Joining us now, Democratic Congresswoman Debbie Dingell of Michigan. Congresswoman, thanks so much for joining us. You were there in the House chamber when that January 6th attack began. What do you make of this prosecution memo saying the suspect, the actual suspect, told investigators someone needed to, quote, speak up for the people who believe the 2020 presidential election, which Biden won, was stolen?
I'm going to say this. Yes, I was there, and I don't think any of us realized how serious it was until almost after it was over. But going into that day, you knew that there were a lot of people, because of social media, who believed that the election had been stolen. What I think bothers me the most about this is the normalization of political violence. This really, in the last few years, we think it's okay. We think, for whatever reason, we can go after people. It's okay to harm people, to hurt people. And I think, one, we need to really recognize people need to get their facts, and social media is not always accurate. And two, I hope as we go into 2026, all of us are going to work to de-escalate the rhetoric and not normalize political violence.
I was anchoring our coverage when that riot, that insurrection began. I never in my life expected to see Americans storming the U.S. Capitol.
You didn't even realize it. You know, I was on the floor. They told me, go to the mic. I got told to keep everybody calm. And I'm like, from what? And none of us really understood what was happening till we were taken to the undisclosed location and there for hours. And we didn't have a television at First Wolf, so we didn't understand what was happening. But everybody, Republicans and Democrats, were determined to go back that night and certify the vote and finish the job we were given to do.
And you did do that.
We
indeed.
did do it.
As you know, Congresswoman, the suspect evaded authorities for nearly 5 years. How worried are you that something like this could happen again here in the United States, given, as you correctly point out, the heightened political climate that we now live in?
I'm very worried it could happen again. We're seeing it. It's becoming common, and it's not okay. I think that I don't care who you are, what perspective you have, we all have to work to dial down the vitriolicness, the rhetoric, the ugliness. And one, political violence isn't okay, and two, if people say something, see something, say something.
They should. See something, say something indeed.